Okay, we're going to continue reading in Called to Serve in Mom's autobiography, the second part of chapter 7, which is titled Columbia Union Years. But I'm going to start with the section Birth of Daniel Andrew Roth Jr. How's that? Your baby.
Okay.
Daniel Andrew Roth Jr. arrived at 6:26 a.m. on November 20, 1958, at the Washington Sanitarium and Hospital in Tacoma Park, Maryland. At 9 pounds, 7 ounces, he outweighed both his brother and sister. Wow. And at 22 inches, he measured 1.5 inches longer than either of them. At age 48, he is still the tallest, slimmest, and most energetic of our 3 children. Now, I wonder at age 62 if that's, I think that's still true. I think I'm still the tallest, the slimmest, and the most energetic. And because I'm the youngest. On what turned out to be the evening before his birth, the ladies of Columbia, my office friends and neighbors, had a surprise baby shower for me. At home afterwards, I spread everything out for Dawn to see before packing it away, then went to bed. Sleep eluded me, so I finally crawled and wrote all my thank you notes. A few hours later, I poked Dawn and exclaimed, "It's time to go." Born one day before my 33rd birthday, Danny shares his birthday with cousins Kathy and Vicky Runge. My sister Joan had Linda 2 days later, and my sister Carol had given birth to Janet 3 months earlier. Isn't that something that you and one of your sisters had children 2 days apart, and the other sister 3 months before? That's really something. Mother didn't want to play favorite, so she chose to stay home this time. Don's parents came, and Mom Roth and Marion helped us a lot. Don did not like his real name Daniel when we named our firstborn son. Since we had the same initials, we chose to give our children names beginning with D.A. When our third child arrived, we liked the name Daniel Andrew as well as any other, so that's what we called him. For a combined birth announcement and Christmas greeting, Don took a picture of Danny in the bassinet with big brother and sister standing alongside.
Now I remember that picture.
Okay. Although a sweet, happy, hungry baby, Danny had a problem keeping his milk down. The kind didn't matter, breast, infant formula, or soy. All of a sudden, up it came like a projectile. In time, the condition corrected itself, but we remained puzzled about the cause. Years later, in Singapore, an x-ray revealed a diaphragmatic hernia, probably present at birth and the cause of his vomiting. And I had surgery like at 10 or 11 years old or 12 years old, something like that. Diaphragmatic hernia.
And what's that?
It's where the diaphragm has a hole in it, and and part of the stomach pokes through, and then food can get in there and and cause problems. So here's me at 6 months. Danny's early years. Danny acted high-strung. I wish he could have grown up in a quieter atmosphere. Always very active, he especially annoyed women who wore open-toed shoes. He loved to crawl around and stick his finger into the holes. "Will you get that kid out of here?" they cried. His Aunt Marion loved him and called him her boy, but sometimes teased him just to see him throw a fit, which to me seemed unfair. When Marion kept Danny, so I could attend Don's ordination to the gospel ministry in Atlantic City, he came down with chickenpox. Danny attended kindergarten at the Rolling Terrace School in Tacoma Park, Maryland, before we moved to Singapore. Always a quick learner, he made good progress. At a 4th of July parade, when Danny had reached his preteen years and we were on furlough, in the crowd I spied Dr. Emma Hughes, who had delivered him. "I'd like to introduce you," I cried. "She would love to meet you." "Oh, Mom, I'd rather not," he said in embarrassment. She saw me naked. I prevailed, and he blushed but survived. So I was embarrassed that the doctor who delivered me saw me naked. That is funny. Diane tries her wings too. Diane also attended kindergarten at the Rolling Terrace School. Then she joined her brother David at the new Sligo Elementary School building located at 6300 Carroll Avenue, just 2 blocks from our home. She acted more timid and shy than her brother, but did fine in school with one exception. They had stopped teaching phonics and stressed sight reading instead, hence reading and spelling suffered during those few years. Helen Hale taught Diane piano until we left for Singapore in 1965. We enjoyed attending the recitals. She and David both joined the Pathfinder Club at school, and all three learned to ride bicycles. Okay, so here's a photo of Diane, Danny, and David in 1959 in their early years living in Tacoma Park, Maryland. So I was born in November '58, so I was not, too far from 1 year old. We always celebrated birthdays by inviting family and friends to dinner and a party. Diane had hers indoors since Old Man Winter reigned in January. At times when it snowed, though, we got out the snowsuits and boots and enjoyed making snowmen and going sledding. Church and school involvement. We joined the Tacoma Park SDA Church, and I helped in the children's Sabbath schools as much as I could, progressing from the nursery and cradle roll through kindergarten and primary. Marion and I worked together in some of these divisions. I served as a room mother for several years, helping supervise at-school picnics and other outings and assisted with fundraisers. Don traveled a lot, but at holiday times he celebrated with the family, either at home or in Pennsylvania or Florida with our parents. We looked forward to our special times together. One Christmas, the Rungis and our family drove to Florida to visit Mom and Dad Roth. Danny slept fine on the ledge by the back window of the car. Wow, times really have changed. Back window of the car. But nearly got pneumonia by the time we arrived in sunny Florida. Some young parents don't take enough precautions. How Don's parents survived having 4 adult guests and their 5 children all at once still remains a mystery. Special happenings.
That's good.
We entertained visiting missionaries such as the Leo Hollywells from the Amazon. Our children learned much about other parts of the world. Park and Christian from Pitcairn Island stayed at our home for a time. David experienced riding with him on the ship Bounty from New York to the World's Fair site. David and Diane accompanied us to a radio television council in Denver. We experienced a Yellowstone earthquake while sleeping in a cabin in the Grand Tetons. Jolted awake, I exclaimed, "What was that?" The people next door must be really having a really wild party, Don answered. Go back to sleep. The next morning we learned over the car radio that we'd experienced our very first earthquake. But not the last one, huh? Living in California. We enjoyed affordable summer vacations at Ron Bloomer's cabin at the Chesapeake Bay and had delicious donuts and sweet rolls from their bakery. So I really remember going to the bakery early in the morning and helping to put either jelly or cream, like the white cream, into the donuts and then enjoyed eating them. And then I remembered that at the cabin at the Chesapeake Bay, there was a screened-in porch, and there were long stairs that went down to the bay. I mean, long, like hundreds of steps.
A flight of...
A lot of flights of probably rickety wooden steps, but we had a lot of fun there. One of our longest auto trips took us to the General Conference session in San Francisco via Texas, Mexico, Southern California, and Disneyland for the first time. After the session, we attended the Seattle World's Fair and drove across Canada on the way home. Wow, that was a long trip. So you drove from Maryland to Texas to Mexico to Southern California to Seattle and all the way back across Canada. So that was probably 8,000 miles at least. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy stunned and saddened us, along with the whole world. While working downstairs in our family room, I heard the news on the radio. Don heard the announcement at a luncheon at Lito's restaurant. One never forgets such things. I remember Dad telling me, even though he was a lifelong Republican, he voted for John F. Kennedy at that election. So that's great. Called to mission service in the Far East. Nearly 18 years after filling out application forms for foreign mission service, Don received an official call to serve in the Far Eastern Division headquarters office located in Singapore. We accepted immediately and then consulted the World Book Encyclopedia to locate Singapore on the map of Southeast Asia. So when you accepted, you had no idea where Singapore was, and you had to go look on a map to see where you were going to be going. The following month, we attended the North American Division Youth Congress, at which time the leaders introduced and dedicated all those scheduled to leave for mission service. Excitement ran high in our family. Dreams finally became reality. God wanted us to serve him in foreign lands. While the children finished school, I tackled the daunting task of sorting, packing, selling, and storing our personal effects and household goods. Carol's husband, Bernie, helped me pack 3 metal barrels and 3 wooden crates to ship to Singapore. We entertained visiting family members, and Dawn took the Herfers and Rungies to the New York World's Fair while I kept Lil's twin baby girls at home. So those twin baby girls are Lori and Lisa. And I just texted with Lori today about her dad, Uncle Al, passing away a couple weeks ago. Very sad. He was a fine man. Soon after the Columbia Union staff farewell in Peterson's and Wickwire's backyards, we enjoyed a last pizza feast at Lido's Italian restaurant and ice cream at High's. Living out of suitcases, we spent most of July visiting our parents and other relatives before boarding the plane in Los Angeles for the first of many flights en route to Singapore. What exciting new adventures awaited us on the other side of the world. Wow, and now I think you take a non-stop flight from Los Angeles to Singapore, like, I don't know, 15 hours or something. So that is the end of chapter 7.